My name is Jordan and I am a product scientist with CriticalPath. This video will cover the details of one of CriticalPath's unique features, the execution path. The execution path is created from a chain of connections between slices which represent functions and processes that are occurring within your app's code. For example, we see this deliver input slice and this Android UI dispatch slice, and I selected the Android slice and I see this connection here. So when two slices are connected, it means that the slice on the left called or triggered the execution of the slice on the right. And when multiple connections between slices are chained together, we then create an execution path. So for example, if I select this slice here, I see this chain of connections going through the different slices, and this is creating my execution path for this flow of the test app. An execution path shows the progression of calls that are made, resulting in a clear path that reveals what processes led to a change or UI update in the app. So we see this slice here was triggered by a previous slice, which was triggered by a previous slice, and so on, all the way back from the end to the beginning of the flow here at this deliver input event slice. Each slice has its own execution path or execution paths in the case of choreographers, showing what functions and calls resulted in its execution. So we see this is the path from this choreographer slice here, but if I were to select, for example, a different choreographer, we see the path is a bit different. If I select this slice, we see the path is shorter. If I select this slice here, we see the path is very small. So each slice that you select will have its own execution path, and when you select that slice, the path will be revealed. In addition to the main execution path that's highlighted with the yellow connections, there are also secondary paths highlighted in blue, which reveal additional dependencies between functions and processes across threads. So if I select this icon here, we now see these blue connections in addition to the main execution path, which again provide additional information about the dependencies that are going on between the different threads. And the way to make the secondary paths appear and disappear is to select this Show All Paths icon. I'll hover over it so you can see here, right above the icon there. So that's Show All Paths. And right now it's not selected, so we only see the yellow connections. But by selecting it, we then see the additional dependencies. So when this is selected, it's highlighted in blue, and so are the paths. When it's not, we'll just see the main execution path. And as I mentioned before, all slices except for choreographer slices have only one main execution path. And this is because choreographers manage the rendering of multiple UI elements on the device screen, which then means that there are multiple path options depending on which UI element or process you're interested in. And to view all of the main execution path options for a choreographer, you would use CriticalPath's path hinting tool when you have a choreographer slice selected. So right here, this is the choreographer slice that is selected. And if you look at the details panel to the right, we see this path 1 out of 6 here. And that's indicating that there are 6 potential execution paths for this one choreographer. And right now, because we see path 1 out of 6, we're viewing the first execution path out of those 6. So we'll see here, by selecting the arrow, the right arrow, you'll then see the next path. And this allows me to change the path a bit, and you'll see slight differences. Sometimes the paths will be very different, or sometimes they'll just be slightly different. And our tool automatically sorts the path options for a choreographer slice, which means that the first paths that you see are likely the ones that you want to focus on for analysis. And that covers everything you need to know about CriticalPath's execution path feature. If you have any other questions about the execution path or about CriticalPath in general, feel free to check out the other videos found on our site.